Trent Cotney and John Kenney are dedicated to helping the construction industry with legal business and safety challenges. Welcome to this week's episode of Law and Mortar.
Hello, I'd like to welcome everybody to another episode of Law and Mortar. I'm Trent Cotney, and as always, I got John Kenney with me. John, how are you doing?
Great. It's fantastic to be here right before a holiday coming up. It's always good to chat with our fans.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got Thanksgiving just a day away, and we are going to talk about what we're thankful for a little bit later in the episode. But John, I want to start off with always a hot topic in construction and roofing, and that is lack of skilled labor. It's been the biggest issue that I can think of affecting construction, at least, decades. I mean, I can't remember a time where we haven't been talking about it. Career and technical education and training is something that, I know you champion. I am aware of some different laws and things that have been coming out to try to, encourage that. But what are you hearing on the CTE side? And, is there anything promising that's out there?
There's it's not a lot has changed on the training side, but I mean, not that it's a bad thing. It's there. I think the biggest issue is still getting it out to the right people to know about it, and then also getting it being, to the younger ones. And I think I know we're going to talk about that as a follow-up to this, but there's an issue with, what age you got to be to start at this. And a lot of times we're behind the curve. You wait till somebody's in their 20s that wants to do a career change and had 3 years working in retail or something. It's very hard to bring them over to the side because it's a different world, being outside. But I think far as I can tell you from my experience and my knowledge of what's out there, I think the actual training that is available on an industry-wide basis, that it's outside of unions always had very good apprenticeship training programs. It's there. I think what's been developed over the last couple of years puts us where we need to be to get people trained. It's just now a matter of, one, getting companies to buy into it as a real training program, and the other part of it is getting people attracted in to even take the training.
Yeah, and I think we've kind of reached that point now where people are starting to understand that not everybody needs to go to college. I mean, we've been talking about that. That's been rhetoric that's been used for almost a decade now, but I think a lot of people are starting to realize that, the traditional jobs that you might get out of college are going to fade away. AI and technology is going to eliminate a large sector of college-based jobs. And really, what's going to be important are skills-based. We live in a society where, we're training people to know nothing, and I think what's really going to be valuable is people that have common sense skills, people that can build, people that can do. And I am starting to see, just a big sea change in how people look at this. And I think more and more younger kids are looking into getting into construction for that reason. One thing that's interesting is that there's a lot of local laws and rules and even some federal support for CTE training. Recently in Florida, Senate Bill 460, wanted to reduce the age to allow some older teens to get into the workforce, obviously with supervision and training, really encourage CTE as far as credit courses and things of that nature. All of that I think is good. Anything that we can do to encourage getting people into the workforce is going to be a positive thing. But, more importantly, John, for me, it's not just about getting people into the workforce. It's about changing the mindset of people. I love our industry. I love our industry. I'm very proud to be part of it. And I think there's something very noble about our profession. I mean, we always strive for professionalism, but, you think about what roofing contractors do, they keep water out. It's one of the key essential things of life is shelter. So I think part of this is, I think we're finally starting to see some change with perception. And that is that, people are looking up more and more to people that can actually do something. The day of graduating with a marketing degree or something like that, even though, yes, you could be useful and you can do great things, there's concern out there that, AI is going to take over some of that stuff. So, I mean, would you agree with that?
Absolutely agree. And jumping back to your point on, I think at 16 years old under supervision in a company with guidelines, you are old enough to be able to start to be trained into your career in the roofing contract, as a roofer in the contracting field. I was 13 full speed. By the time I was 16 working summers, I was doing every single thing. Well, actually, probably earlier, but you were there. You were already trained. I was a full. I realized things were different then, but we need to get away from where we're at now and back to that to understand it. That, we can work with them with the high school classes. You can then have them come on the summers and be that intern and learn their trade and add it all in. And you're correct about the stigma. I think we're starting to get away from that. And I'm going to just tag on this. Absolutely, roofing is one of the most noblest careers that you could go into, because you are keeping people dry in their shelters, as you said. What more can you want than that? That, whether it is from the kids with schools to people in their homes, taking with an elderly population now, there's more and more nursing homes and care facilities there have been. They're not worth a darn if they don't have a good dry roof on them. So, you can consider this a noble field, not just hey, I'm a roofer. That's gone. We're better than that. And tag real quick. I was on a meeting the other day with IRR, the industry of roofing over in UK, and they're facing the same issue because at 16, that's where their typical education, like we go K-12, really ends, and you kind of pick a specialty. You're going to go to college or you're going to go into a trade school. But the problem there, they're facing the same thing. In roofing, you cannot go in until you're 18. So they have a good percentage of the classmates interested in roofing, but by the time they turn 18 and they can bring them in to the on-the-job training, it's over with. They're already picked another career. So I think it's real important for us to wake up and get that down to 16. I think that's a really good solution.
Yeah, I do. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Obviously, if you have safeguards in place and you're training and you got your safety there, learn a skill, man. Learn a skill. It's going to be important, and we're moving. The careers of the past are going to change, and I think that's what everybody needs to understand. It's can you do something, right? So I would like to kind of turn now. Obviously, we got Thanksgiving tomorrow, and I want to just take an opportunity to kind of reflect, and we're getting close to the end of the year, and say, what are we thankful for? So, John, I'll turn it over to you first.
Well, that is great. And this is one of my favorite holidays, and for that reason, it's not a pressure of buying gifts. You're not worried about somebody's birthday, or other holidays. It's not tied to any kind of religious beliefs, and what I mean by that is it is absolutely so important to give thanks. And what I'm thankful for first is my family. Then absolutely it's my friends, right? Because without family and friends, where are we? We're lonely. We don't have, you don't have anything. That's your goal, not money. I will tell you right now, money isn't even on my top list of anything for being thankful for. You need it to survive. You need it to move on. But after that, absolutely my industry, and then my industry friends. And not saying it because we're doing this together and we've been friends for 22, 23 years now. I'm thankful for you. You've always been a great friend, man. You've been there through thick and thin, and you're that confidant that I can always talk to whenever I need to. And those are the things I'm most thankful for right now.
Yeah. You took the words right out of my mouth. We've known each other for so long, and just the fact that we can continue to partner and do this kind of stuff is great. I think we both have a love of the industry, and I echo what you said. I travel a bunch, I work real hard, but if it wasn't for the support of my family and my friends, I wouldn't be able to do any of that. So obviously, give thanks to them. Thank everybody that works hard, with me. It's not an easy job, and I've got a lot of people that make me look good, and I want to thank each and every one of them for working and busting their hump every day. Thank the industry. I'm very thankful for being able to be a part of it, to be able to see what I've seen and travel and speak and engage. It means a lot to me. I really do like this industry. I love the people. I admire the people. And I hope, I get to continue to do this for many, many years to come. So, I think it is important for everybody that's listening and obviously I thank our listeners, right, John? I mean,
absolutely.
Thank you guys for making us number one. We appreciate that. And, I encourage our listeners to take some time out and kind of think about, that as well. It's always a good time for reflection. We got 4 days here where I'm going to enjoy doing nothing but hanging out and eating. So
Yeah, exactly.
so,
No pressure. No
yeah,
pressure holiday. It's a great holiday.
yeah, absolutely. Before we go, John, we got to get one question in.
All right.
So I figured this is a good one. This is from Suzanne, and Suzanne's question is, what would you recommend at the end of the year as far as preparing? You know, is there anything that contractors should be doing as we get closer to the end of the year? You know, what comes to mind on my end, obviously, is, you know, checking with your CPA about taxes. You know, is there anything from a business or personal standpoint that you can do to, you know, decrease your tax footprint, right? You know, are there beneficial things that you can do to help offset potential gains or other things that you've got going on? Are you taking advantage of expenses and deductions and things of that nature? Obviously, getting your house in order, you know, using any downtime during, you know, business days to really make sure that you got your SOPs in place, that you focused on a good 2024, all that kind of stuff. But John, I know on the operations side, the business side, this is your bread and butter. So I'll turn it over to you and let you finish.
Yeah, I mean, you hit some great high points there. Absolutely, you got to do everything you just said. You got to do it. But one thing I think, other than that hard knocks, getting ready for taxes and preparing yourself for and having all your business receipts and everything together, all the hardcore stuff that you really need to do and get it done before the holidays, because you don't want to face it after the first of the year. You want to be moving on to better things. I would say this is a great time. You want to reflect back on what you did during the year as a company, as a team, as your whole organization went. What were your goals that you set for this year, right? We're in the end of 23. Did you meet them? Were they worth it? In other words, if you had a volume goal set at one level and you hit it, did you make the profit you were supposed to make? You know, are you anticipating all that? Was it too much strain on your team? And a lot of times we don't think about it in that manner. We just look at that hard report coming out of accounting, but take it and digest it a little bit and take time to talk to your team and say, this is where we were this year. How did it work out for everybody? You know, how did it work out for the operations, the estimating? Were we running faster than we really could keep up with? Or we got that? What's our growth going to be for next year? What should we concentrate on? That's the most important thing for success for 2024.
Yeah, well said, man. That you know, that's a period at the end right there. That's perfect. As always, I want to thank, you know, our loyal listeners and viewers. Really appreciate you guys. Hope you have a great Thanksgiving, and we'll see you soon. As always, you need to get a hold of me. You can reach me at trent.cotney@arlaw.com or check any social at Trent Cotney. John, how can they get you?
Jay Kenney at CotneyConsulting.com. And I also wish everybody a very happy Thanksgiving.
All right. Thank you, guys. We'll see you soon.
Thank you. Take care.